the first period, right? So I split the year into two periods, before and after the hot tub goes live. The first period, we had $1,304 in direct revenue, right? The second period, we had $12,873 in direct revenue, right? So we had an $11,569 increase in direct revenue for a $5,000 decrease in Airbnb. And the reason for that is because our booking lead time increased because people are finding us on Instagram and TikTok, booking direct farther out from when they're actually checking in. And it just, the whole story comes together right here. I'm like, this is just incredible.
Alrighty, welcome back to another edition of the Hideaway Show, Behind the Curtain. Back at it another week, Mike and I together. We're going to start, this is a new thing now, where we were doing this like, I don't know, once every 3 weeks. We've decided, and selfishly, because we run this show, is we're going to bring on Mike and I more often. So here we are again, back at it. Mike, how are we doing today?
Dude, I feel privileged to be able to hang out with you on this show more often. I am just the most blessed individual out here. I can't wait.
You know, normally when someone says that, whether it be my wife or my kids, the follow-up response to that is, okay, what did you do? Or like, what's wrong? What's happening behind the scenes that you're not telling me? Because right now you're...
Dude, there's a lot happening behind the scenes that I'm not telling you. I can't wait to go through this. So...
Oh, dude, it's been a fun Tuesday so far. It's a lot of good things happening, a lot of exciting things happening. We were just talking 5-10 minutes before hopping on the podcast, and you're just like, dude, just click record. We're talking about too many fun, cool stuff before we get in the pod, right? We had like a 10-15 minute podcast before this. So
I sent an email to someone the other day, to our newsletter the other day, that said I have the best job in the world, because I truly do believe it. Like, especially compared to what I used to do, but it is. I just feel so lucky and so blessed.
Time out. I know you say you're blessed, but you used to work at Jersey Mike's too. Like, I feel like that's up there with this, right?
Fair. That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe just comparing the last two, this one and the last one.
Okay.
But we, I did send that in an email, and I was like, I truly didn't believe it, but it's like doing the pre-pod, like looking through what we're going to go through here. I was like, we don't need to do anything. We need to save all of the exciting stuff that we're bringing to chat into this, right? Because going through it again is a little different. So,
well, it's like I think every host has this too, where it's, if you don't start digging into the numbers or seeing how you're doing from a financial perspective or just your properties in general, sometimes you can get hung up on maybe some of the negatives that are happening surface levels, or maybe a small fire that just seems to be like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. But when you take a step back and you look at the grand scheme of things, you're like, no. Things couldn't be better. Everything is climbing and rising and right where we're headed. And it's fun, right? Like, at the end of the day, I'm not sitting at a desk at my W-2 anymore trying to tell my boss, hey, I'm gonna go take a lunch break. Like, no, like, I can get a text from Mike that says, hey, you want to hop on and do the podcast early? Like, yeah, I absolutely do, because I have no one else to report to, and I love this stuff. It's absolutely tremendous, and I'm excited to dive into what we're going to dive into today with people. So,
speaking of, what is it?
We've talked about the Stoic in the past and what we did with that hot tub feature, but what I want to dive into today is, I don't even know if it's our favorite custom features, but how the Stoic and the Naturalist has really changed everything for us. It's kind of been our proof of concept per se, but even better than a proof of concept, because I think like proof of concepts typically are like, oh yeah, it kind of worked, now let's take it to the next level, right? We came out of the gate swinging with both of them, and I said before we hopped on this, I said the Stoic, that unique hot tub on the Boulder, seemed like a home run. Like, it was like we hit it out of the park, we thought we crushed it. And then we came in after that and said, okay, we did well with the Stoic. Let's see if we can outdo it with the Naturalist. And I think we hit a grand slam with that. And we've only been, what, a month, I think? Ish?
Yeah.
A month and a half?
Or just over a full month. Yeah.
Right. Of it being open. And I'm wowed with the results from a revenue perspective, from a social perspective, and just taking a step back and looking at the numbers for what it's done and where those reservations are coming from. And it's the Stoic we've talked about before. The Stoic was our worst performer, and it rose to being our best performer. I say worst to first. And we repeated that with the Naturalist. I was looking at the numbers today, and the Taoist always since we acquired these properties, was the front runner. And I remember you and I having this conversation. We
Yep.
could never understand why,
That
because
stupid Papasan chair.
I was going to say that the world's most uncomfortable chair,
Yep.
but for whatever reason, that was pretty much the only thing that we could hang our hat on that said, like, this is why this property
Yep.
is different than the others.
Yep.
Until we added the hot tubs. And I'm curious to know is it just the fact that it's a cool, unique hot tub? I feel like it's more than just, I mean, it is cool, don't get me wrong. But what if no one knows about it? You have the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, you got to be able to show it to people and get it in front of them, right?
Exactly.
My thing, like, it's kind of funny because my wife and I have been going through some design stuff in our house and whatnot, and every time that we do it, it looks beautiful. Everything that she does looks phenomenal, and I'm always very impressed with it. What I'm not impressed is it makes no sense from a logical perspective. Like, it's not functional. You can't, in order to do anything with it, you have to move 10 other things. Right. And I feel like that's how the house was. It's like, this is adorable. It looks like a cloud with little drape over it and all this. What nobody thought about until they got there is sitting in it sucks. And there's nowhere else to sit. Right. However, you hold me to account on this, right? We had to replace it, and we replaced it with the exact same thing because people love it for some reason. Right.
Right.
Same thing for this. It's like the target market is the same, right? We are selling to a target market. We know exactly who that is, right? And the people that want that see it and they're like, I am going there. It's not a question. It's like, I am going. Are you taking me or is someone else taking me? But I am going there.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's cool to see, and I don't think it's just direct bookings are coming in. That is fantastic. But I was looking at the numbers for the Stoic and the Naturalist, and I do on average, and I did a range here, but 50% to 100% revenue increase on average per month for each property. So where we were making, and I looked where we were making $4,000 per month before, we're on track to do $8,000 in a month. What other like? If you were to tell me, like, hey, add a hot tub and do it in this unique way and you could double your revenue on one property, I would have told you you're insane. And I think there's a couple things that go into that, but it's proper execution, right? It's not we just add a hot tub and, built a lackluster deck around it, right? It took a lot of time back and forth.
Yep.
Talking to the team that's actually building it as we're going through it, be like, okay, what do you want to do here? And some of it, to be honest with you, was very much like, let's kind of, at least with the Stoic, right? Was let's build it as we go. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we can pull off.
Yeah.
And it turned out. But I mean, we're looking to bring in October numbers for revenue.
Just so everybody knows, October is it's not our leading month. It is like a standout, triple your rates and have 99 to 100% occupancy, no matter what.
I didn't know where you were going with that. I was like, "What timeout?" I don't know what Mike's October is the month in the gorge of like if there's a month you want to crush it, it's October.
Yep.
And I mean, let me look at numbers here. We're actually, you know what? Let me share my screen. This is the third time I've done this on the podcast, so I should be a professional by now. So this is the last 12 months, and looking at the revenue, just looking at June here, as of today, and it's as of this recording, June 10th, we have $19,556 worth of revenue on the books for June. Just for reference, last June, and I believe, remind me again, did we have the Stoic hot tub then?
I think we did.
I think we did as well.
Yeah.
So again, with the Stoic, but we were at $12,970. That's almost $7,000 monthly revenue increase over a year's time frame.
I believe that.
Yeah, but then you look at October. Here's that leading month, 22,305. If we're gonna almost hit that October number in June, just imagine what October's gonna bring.
Yep.
Like, I don't even know what the number will be, but I think this goes to show that if you do something in the right way and do it unique and execute on it and promote it, you have the potential to take a property that was, that was still performing well. Don't get me wrong. It was a very, cute 3 tiny cabins out in the woods up against a cliff. I mean, that itself carries a little bit of weight, but it's like, how do we elevate this and take it to the next level?
So we, just for reference here, we launched the Stoic in June, but I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd week of June, because it looks like
True.
the Stoic went in May, went from $1,200 in revenue. We got $2,800 in June, but I think it was the second half of the month. We were only open part of that.
I think you're right.
And then the very next month we did over 6,000 just for Stoic. Yeah.
Dang.
And it went up from there.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, for the naturalist for June, we're at, I think 78.
Yep.
7,800. So it's even outperforming the Stoic
By $1,800 or $1,700.
Yeah. And we're
But-
still at June 10th.
The naturalist, yes, the naturalist is, you took all, like, it's kind of funny. Like, my advice to people now, they're like, how do you go about doing that? And I'm like, you just do the first one poorly, and then you do the second one. I'm not excited about the first time I build it. I'm excited about the second time I build it, because it is so much easier to answer all those questions. And my goodness, dude, the way that place came out, I told you before we launched the naturalist, it's like, we need the thing. And I didn't know what the thing was, right? It's like giving graphic designers feedback on their logos. It's like, I don't like this one, and I have no idea what I don't like about it, right? But when you see the one you do like, you're like, that is it. And dude, we got those photos back from Brandon, and I was like, that is it. That's the thing.
I'm sitting here, we're talking about the naturalist, we're talking about all this stuff, and I'm saying all this with the assumption that people that are listening to this podcast, which I would hope if you're listening to this amazing podcast, what we're talking about with the naturalist and what we've done with that hot tub. But let me share this video here. I'm still in love with this video, selfishly. Like, I don't know if we'll be able to hear the audio on here.
So good.
Here, you'll have to tell me if you can hear the audio. Probably.
Nope.
That's a bummer.
It just looks so good, though.
But like the transformation from where it was, this one's my favorite, where it's like, you took a rock, added steps up the cliff, built a hot tub on top of the boulder. And then I remember the one time you and I were talking about this, we were sitting down here where I'm pointing where those steps are built. And we were like, you're like, let's just put it there. Right. And I think that's been the story of the Stoic and the naturalist for us, is like, let's just put it there. And it was kind of that moment of, you took a step back, you're like, wait, like on top of the rock? And you're like, yeah. And I think that was like one of the best decisions that we did not come up with, but we agreed to do, because I remember it was, our team was there, and he's like, what if we just put it on top of the rock? Because I know you and I think we were going back and forth. It's like, do we put the hot tub on the backside of the deck? And like, we weren't even going to do anything with the boulder. I remember, like, it was just going to be a deck and a hot tub, very much that and that alone. And wow, were we blessed to just be, hey, put it up on the rock, see what you can do up there. And it's
such a good idea.
Yeah,
it's such a good idea. Just gotta dream bigger, man. That's what it was.
Seriously, and I think a lot of people get scared and hung up on the initial upfront cost, right? Because that was one of the big question marks for these projects for us, is how the heck are we going to pay for these things, right? It's like, we're not just, we don't have loads of cash just sitting around. Now, maybe Mike does, he's not telling me, but that's okay. But it was the question of I think that's always the question. It's like, Jordan, I would love to do all of this, right? But where does the money come from? How do I fund this? Do I go out and find a private investor who wants to invest in this? Is there any return there for them? Do I go with a 0% interest credit card? Do I try to pull equity out on the deal? And I can tell you, I think there was a little bit of the biggest risk in all of this was, is it actually going to pay back, right? How quickly are we going to be able to pay this thing back? It's going to take us 4 years to pay off this $25,000, hot tub deck combo, or is it going to be paid off in a month? And I think with the Stoic, we paid that off in around 12 months, less than 12 months.
I was going to say, it was just under, I believe. Like, just to break that down though, like, we didn't know how we were going to do it. We were going through all the funding possibilities, decided to get a zero APR, zero interest credit card, zero APR interest, whatever it is.
Maybe it was for like 18 months.
Yes. Got that. We looked up, I remember specifically looking up how we can prove to ourselves that it's going to work. And at the end of days of research that all of us did at that time, We couldn't.
Right.
And we were like, there's nothing out there that says if we do this cool, badass hot tub on top of a boulder that we'll make a ton of money. And we were like, okay, that's good enough for us. So we did.
Yep.
And we put it on the credit card, and just in like that first month, you can see, a $4,000 or $5,000 improvement that is essentially just profit for all intents and purposes that goes towards that credit card, right?
Yep.
Because all of our other costs were the same, maybe a little bit on electric, and the water's free, right? So it was just like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. But then after that, we did a refi, and the property had gone up, $80,000 in value in 12 months. Now, that was not disclosure. That was not just because of the hot tub that we put together. However, the hot tub, the revenue increase, and the market that we chose all played a factor into that. But that being said by itself, it would have been, I just couldn't imagine having a hot tub on a little piece of wood next to the fireplace.
We were almost there. That was almost what we did.
We'd be super pumped on the like $3 ADR increase that we got instead of, what we actually got.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm very thrilled with where we're at with that. And if you remember with the Stoic, when we launched it, we had, I feel like it took us a couple months to get updated photos on that, because like once it got done, it's like, okay, we got to work to get someone out here to get photos. And I think we had someone out a month or 3 weeks after it was complete. And then it obviously takes a little bit of time for those photos and video to come back. And it still did well while it, on Airbnb with just the photos that we were able to capture. At that point, it was like even a cell phone photo at that point was going to be fine because it was unique. It was something, right? And then once we had that high quality content and started pushing it on social media, that's where everything changed. And that's one of the biggest takeaways with all of this is if you have something like that that is unique and you have built a following and a presence on social media, that can take what would have been I will say a good ROI on that project to like top tier, like world class ROI on this project. Like, sure, we could have, spent another 30 or 40,000. Maybe it would have done even more, but the ROI on what we spent and what we promoted on social was, I think, like we said, beyond what we would have expected.
Yeah. So I pulled a couple of those numbers because I thought it would be cool to go through. So firstly, like just as we're talking about this, we have a little bit better tracking tools now, which goes retroactively. So it pulls everything that we got from the Stoic as well. But that being said, some of the comparison that we can do now, I've never seen tracking like this in my entire life. It was just like a little side note to the side note. It was my job in the company to put together tracking dashboards for me and Jordan to look at and figure out how we're going to like monitor all this. It took me about 2 months out of a 3-month period that we gave ourselves for me to find this one tool, which was just kind of ironic. Someone referred it to us. And then it took about 6 hours to implement once we said yes. And now we have
so fast.
Yeah, I was looking at building all this custom stuff, and now we have the like better tracking for STRs than I had at my marketing agency for marketing stuff. And there's very good tracking in marketing. I'll tell you that. So that being said, since launching the Naturalist, I'm going to start the shocker. We've had a 70.6% drop. I'm sorry, not since launching the Naturalist, since launching the hot tub at the Naturalist. And keep in mind what Jordan said, worst to first. I love that thing. Like it is absolutely true. So this was the underperformer that we had, right? We kind of just didn't care because the other ones were doing well. And it's like, we're going to try and get it up. But at the same time, like the others are doing so well that it didn't really matter. So put the hot tub live. We had a 70.6% drop in Airbnb revenue, right? And that's because we had a 57% increase in direct, right? 57%, not all that great. However, an 887% increase in what they're calling booking engine, which is essentially direct as well. And in that, to me, I'm just like, goodness gracious, the first period, right? So I split the year into 2 periods, before and after the hot tub goes live. The first period, we had $1,304 in direct revenue, right? The second period, we had $12,873 in direct revenue, right? So we had an $11,569 increase in direct revenue for a $5,000 decrease in Airbnb. And the reason for that is because our booking lead time increased because people are finding us on Instagram and TikTok, booking direct farther out from when they're actually checking in. And it just, the whole story comes together right here. I'm like, this is just incredible.
Hey guys, real quick, just want to jump in here and say, if this show has been sparking ideas and helping you level up your short-term rental game, we would be so grateful if you drop us a 5-star review. It helps us and this show reach even more people who want to build wealth through unique, unforgettable stays, just like you. So thanks for being a listener. Now, back to the show. Yep. It's cool to see that, and that data is going to change the game for what we're doing. When you mentioned that you found that, I was like, oh my gosh, like,
yeah,
this is everything we've been asking for and haven't been able to find. And sure enough, go figure, Mike and everyone he knows, someone came to him and referred this company to him, and I was like, are we allowed to share?
I think they should have to reach out to us because we get referral fees if we.
Okay.
Wait,
okay. Well, I was gonna say I didn't know if we had a code yet for it and put it in the description. But how about this? If you're interested in this data tracking tool, let us know. Shoot us an email. Shoot us a DM on social media, wherever you can reach us, and we will.
Worth it.
We'll
ROI on this. I'm gonna pay for the entire year of this service this month from a couple tweaks that I was able to make in Price Labs. Like, it's fun.
Yeah, I think the flexibility and the dashboards and the data that you have from this tool is just second to none. And the fact that we hadn't heard about it until a few weeks ago, like, it's insane.
Yeah, it is insane. We were looking for it too. So
yeah, we were looking for it and we finally found it. So
we've got in here just like a couple other random numbers, like, just so everybody knows, launching this hot tub and pushing it on Instagram, right? We've got a 29% increase in ADR. And I will say that I increase the ADR like every other week right now because it's a 400 square foot house and our weekend prices are exceeding $600. Our base rate in Price Labs right now is $329. And the only reason that I put it there is because I can't keep it not booking, right? I would like our occupancy to go down a little because I can tell that we're too cheaply priced because it's so high, right? So that being said, we've got a 29% increase in the ADR, and that will continue to rise. We have a 15% increase in RevPAR. We have a 14% increase in average stay value. We even have a 13% increase in our booking window. We went from 28 days to 32 days, and that's going to continue as we get more directs. What else? 9% in total unit revenue. Like, it just, everything is up. And I remember you and me going through this and saying, like, well, if our occupancy drops to this, or if our ADR goes up to this, or if our, all these different scenarios, what we didn't account for is occupancy going up 20%, ADR going up 25%, revenue going up 100%. You know what I mean? It's just like, how is this possible? You couldn't put it into a pro forma and have somebody believe it, right?
Right. But now I think with that, it gives us the proof, the confidence, and like, okay, this stuff actually, in fact works, right? We've preached, we've talked about, you have to be unique, you have to stand out. And I think a lot of people think it's it's a fluke. They don't want to invest the money. And I think, unfortunately, those people will still do well within their investment properties, but they're limiting themselves on what they could do from an ROI perspective. So I fully believe and stand behind that uniqueness will drive so much ROI and revenue for your properties. And if you do it the right way and implement it in the right fashion, execute on it, and promote it, it has the potential to take a property that you didn't even realize could go to a certain level, right? I don't think we ever thought that these properties could be doing what I think they're kind of on track between 80 and 90,000 in a year. A 400 square foot cabin is going to do 80 to 90,000.
Yep.
And so now we're going out and we have a bunch of other cool projects going on. We got the silos happening. We're working on the offset A-frame that's going to be themed after a movie. We also have a waterfall property that we're in talks with. And I think it also forces our hand that now the Stoic was here, the Naturals was here. What are we going to do with the Taoist, right? What can we do there to take that to the next level? I don't know what that could be, but I'm confident that whatever it is, if you take three of those properties that on average we're doing 40 to 50,000 and take each of those up to 80 to 90,000, like applaud, like that's a killer deal.
The hardest thing we're gonna like figure out with these things is when to sell.
Right.
Because it's like they're just cranking out reservations right now. It is. I actually am like to the point. Never thought I'd say this, but like you see the reservations come through, and I just think to my head, like, can you give one of our other units a chance?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, 319, 317, 319, 317, 319, 317. I'm like, well, can any of our other ones like start to not that they're doing bad, they're doing fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but But that being said, we are gonna continue to lean in as much as we can to this unique amenity stacking worst to first concept.
Yeah. Well, and I think honestly, you may call me crazy for this. I think the Stoic and Naturalist could even increase even just a little bit more, right? We'll have to see how we can do it. But we bought these properties as is back in what? I'm trying to think, was it 2023?
It was 3, yeah.
Yeah. So 2023, we bought these properties. We bought them as is, right? We just came in, everything was the same. We swapped out internet, did a few small tweaks, did nothing with the design, nothing. We just left it as is because they were performing well, right? So that's where we're in talks with our design team to say, hey, how can we squeeze out every dollar of revenue from these properties? And how could we, not to say we're going to do a full-fledged like design revamp, but how can we boost the space to even make the inside pop even more? Don't get me wrong, the inside is nice, it's perfect, it's secluded nature, it's minimalistic, it's great, right? I think the Naturalist, we did test the mural wall in the bedroom. I do think we don't get a lot of people commenting on it, but I think it gets a lot of people to that plus the hot tub. Think it gets a lot of people to like stop, right? And I think that could be something we lean into heavily with the Taoist to make it stand out, as well as an outdoor feature, but also to boost those properties. So I'm excited to see what we can do with design in all those properties, as well as our current ones. We have some crazy, fun, wild ideas for outdoor spaces at a couple of our properties. It's gonna take a bit to get there, but with what we've been able to do with the Naturalist and the Stoic, those will be real fun case studies to dive into.
The guys that came to us a while back and said that they need a little bit of work are now like, hold on, I can't hire enough people to do all these projects you guys are working on.
Yep. They didn't realize who they were dealing with, right? So, but no, so that's Mike's gonna just steal that phrase. Now I'm gonna hear him saying it all the time.
Oh,
worst
dude.
to first, worst to first,
I
worst to
love that.
first.
I love that. So we're gonna start doing that. Like, we're just gonna go to our bottom properties and be like, what can we do?
Right. I'm excited for what we can do there. So Stoic Naturalist, if you haven't checked them out, I'll drop the links in our description of the show here, and then also follow us on social media if you aren't already. Discover the Hideaways both on Instagram and TikTok. TikTok seems to be taking off like crazy, which is wild, but nonetheless, you can find us on both platforms. Trust me, I'm not a TikTok guy, but when we I think right now we're up to, before we jump into our Would You Book It segment, we just keep growing. From the Naturalist continues to create just crazy buzz, and we're at 54,000 followers on TikTok now. So it's growing. We're gonna be breaking into 100,000 before we know it. So I'm excited.
Incredible.
And it's just, but as long as the biggest thing is the followers don't really necessarily matter. It's as you have to keep them engaged. You have to be providing high quality content. You have to provide things that are unique, and we're going to continue doing that. So the upside, I think, is tremendous. But with that being said, we're going to transition into our second edition of the. We need to like hire like someone to make like a noise, some noise that transitioned into the Would You Book It segment of the week. So we are back with Would You Book It, where Mike and I will pick one idea. We're smart this week. Neither of us knows what the other is going to present, but how we're going to go about this is from two different lenses and two perspectives, right? So we're going to look at it from a guest perspective. We're going to go back and forth and say, would you book this place as a guest? And then we're going to take that hat off and we're going to look at it from a host perspective and be like, you as a host, does this make sense? Would you invest in this? Would you do this within your property? So with that being said, Mike, you want to go first again? You want to lead us off with this, or you want to switch it up?
you think you can handle that? I think I can do it.
I'm kind of like my wife, where it's like I hate like just waiting to see what the surprise is, and I
Dude,
think it will just like I'll go through mine so fast and be like, okay, I just want to know what yours is. So
my favorite thing in the entire world is to tell my wife that I bought her something and then stop talking about it and do something else. Cause dude, for like days, she's like, "What'd you get? What'd you get me? What's it? Where is it? Is it here yet? Do you know?" And I'm just like, chill. Like, I had like a package come in the other day, and she's like, "What's that?" I was like, "That was your present." And she's like, "My present?" And I was like, "Can you stop talking about it?" And I literally just ignored the conversation, and I had to hide it from her. And it was a week of like nonstop, like, "What is it? Is it small? Is it large? Is it this? Is it that? Is it for this?" Oh, man.
kudos to you for sticking it out that
Yeah.
long. Normally, my wife has a hard time just like keeping the secret from me, right? She can't keep the secret, so she's
Same.
just like, your birthday's in January, it's October, can I give you your gift now? And it's like, sure.
Yeah.
I don't, why not?
You should put like a clause in there that it's like, if it's more than 120 days before the actual date, you have to give me a new gift. And that was just like Saturday gift, but I'd like a new one for my birthday now.
We're gonna need to sign a contractual agreement on this one.
Yeah, it's my newness has worn out. So
That's
so I did pull one. This is a place that I actually follow, or a person that I follow, and I've been following for a while. And I think that she has some pretty good ideas. Not a huge fan of all of them, but this one is yes, this is the one I picked. How about that? And I'll let you decide what you think about it. But it is, from a host perspective and from a guest perspective, this fire tower in Idaho, and it is a genuine, like, used to be an actual fire tower that is now converted into an Airbnb that you have to hike to. It has no services at all.
like, when you say services, like no
It's
internet, no
completely off grid. There's no internet. There's absolutely no plumbing. There might be a
There's no
porta john on
water.
the bottom. Yeah. So it is camping, but in a fire tower. Oh, it's got that. There you go. Your outhouse down the way.
Okay.
And a sauna.
That's cool.
Oh,
That's cool.
I know Jordan's answer now. Never mind.
No. Hold on. Well, so you thought that was the outhouse. That was the sauna. So
That was a sauna. Yeah.
the question becomes, you'd probably be able to see on the listing, is there a bathroom?
Yeah.
Because that to okay. Oh God.
There we go.
Oh God. Okay. And where is this located?
In Idaho.
Idaho. What's the?
Yes.
Does it get? Here's a guy who hasn't gotten out of Iowa very much. Does it get very hot in Idaho?
I don't think so.
Okay.
If Idaho's like Washington, then no, it's not super hot. You might have a week or so,
Okay.
but it does get cold.
Okay. So
So
my biggest thing on this, there's a few takes on this. Me as a guest, if it was me, more than likely I'm gonna bring my wife along with, maybe my kids as well.
Yeah.
Maybe not to this one for the kids.
hold on. I just read something. You have to know this first. Not
Okay.
only you must have a 4-wheel drive to access the lookout, but in the winter, which can start in late October, you'll need snowmobiles or the equivalent to get to the property.
Okay.
So this is like Rockhaven on steroids.
I was gonna say that to me, that's no. I like experiences, so
Yeah.
that's not a big hiccup for me. So
Yeah.
I'll say this: unique property. I love it. It looks cool. The fact that there's no services for me, like I could probably get away with it. I'm not staying there for a week. I could stay for a couple days.
Yep.
Where I get into trouble with this property is the no services from a if I get hot, the moment Jordan gets hot or sweaty, it's game over, right? Like it's just that's all I'll think about, and it doesn't matter how cool the like property is. Like that's all I would be thinking about. It's just like, oh, like I'm covered in sweat, like I feel sticky, I just uncomfortable, right?
Yep.
And then the other one would be the sauna's cool. I love that. Again, if it's beat red hot, it wouldn't be for me. But it sounds like it doesn't get super hot there.
But it'd be cool to do a sauna with a snowmobile. Like if you get up there in a
trust me.
snowmobile and you go
Trust
sit in
me.
the sauna, that's rad.
I think in the winter that place would be absolutely incredible to just be out there. My biggest, it's a question mark, and I don't know if it would be a big factor, but if the bathroom, I just see that little outhouse, and I don't care about the cleanliness so much about it. Like I'm sure it is clean. I just see a wasp haven in there. Like that is just like a centralized unit where all the wasps decide like we're gonna hang out. When Jordan goes to use the bathroom, everyone come out, right? Like that is my nightmare. But with all that being said, if would I book this place and stay? I think I would. I think it would be one that I would have to experience once. And maybe I would come back after going, but it seems like everyone else has as well because it has 721 reviews.
Yep. Oh, it does say 0 bath.
That's interesting. Yeah. So I guess you wouldn't be able to shower. You'd have to. Obviously you can tell I'm not a big outdoorsy camping type of guy. So I'm sure there's ways you could shower, but
I don't even know if I would call it that because I feel like I am an outdoorsy person, but I need to shower.
Okay.
Whatever it is, I need a bucket of water.
You're civilized. Okay.
Yes. I am not like off-grid to the point of like wet wipe my armpits and keep on going. Like that's not going to work for me.
You're not roughing it?
Yeah, no. Okay. Nobody wants me to rough it near
him. Now, from I want to know, would you book this place?
I would, because I would do it for a night. I would do it to say that I was at the experience. I think this place qualifies to me as like a place that I would like to say I've stayed at. Mm-hmm. But more importantly than that, if I brought my wife to this place, she would be the happiest person in the world for a month, maybe longer.
Just staying there, like
this is like her dream come true stuff. It would be the coolest experience to like go to do with her. I think it would be an absolute blast for that, especially if we could do a snowmobile. I don't know if they rent them up there or not, but that'd be pretty rad to go in there. But I probably wouldn't last 3-4 nights. It'd be a short trip.
Yeah. So now the question becomes, because we have a little bit more experience with this, is from a host perspective.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't think I would. Just from the logistical perspective of the experiences we try to provide, and if anything goes wrong, or getting the cleaners out there, right? Like, could you imagine telling our cleaning team, like, hey, starting in October, we got you a snowmobile, and they would do it, I think, because they're rock stars.
They would.
But here's a snowmobile. Yeah. Get on out there and clean up, and maybe they would have a blast with it, right? But I think there'd be too many logistical nightmares. We'd have too many guests calling us in the middle of the night if they even had cell service. Maybe they don't have cell service, so then you wouldn't have this headache. But like, if they're like, "Hey, Jordan, I'm stuck at the hill in the snowmobile, right? Like, can you come get me out?" Like, what do you say? Like, I don't know how long the trek is there. Do you say, "Sorry, no, you're on your own"? Like, but apparently people love it. That's a solid calendar. Now, click on the nightly rates. I'm curious. Okay. Yeah.
542 per 2. That's not too $250 a night-ish.
I say it's lower, but again, it's $542. But that's the same price. Go to another night. Are they just across the board? Oh boy.
This boggles my mind. I actually remember looking at this before.
Wow.
This weekend too.
Yeah.
I remember looking at this before and thinking the exact same thing. It's whatever 542 divided by 2 is. That's their nightly rate.
Yeah. But I guess and again, I don't know how much this costs to build and acquire. So they may have no mortgage on this. Their expenses are probably relatively low, and 542 over 2 nights may be plenty for what they're trying to accomplish with this.
This place, though, to me, I would not say that I wouldn't run it. However, this is experience talking right here, right? This is because I've been through this garbage setup before, and I'm like, how do I get this done? Like, just anxiety attacks at 2 a.m. And I would say that I would definitely host this place, but I would need 5 to 10 units in the immediate area running smoother than this one would. Like, I would take on this challenge if I had an existing team of handymen, rock solid cleaners, like all the people that I needed to be local on site. If that was in place, I would host this place in a heartbeat, but I would not launch this as my first one and try and build a team around it for sure.
Yep. Yeah. And that's actually a good point. So like standalone, that'd be a property you'd be like, like I'm gonna kind of stray away from that. But like you said, if it's established, then maybe I could get on board. So, but
that is strictly from the experience of having gone through it. Like, I think this would be
Right.
a very profitable property. Do not get me wrong. I think that'd be a great property from a revenue standpoint, but the
Yep.
headache that is going to come with it, trying to set up a team to
Mhm.
do it. If you don't have the insight, if you can hire a full on team and be like, I've got all this stuff for you to do. Here it is. And we're adding this one. That's a whole different conversation than,
Mhm.
hey, here's your snowmobile and all I can pay you is $200 a week, you know?
Yep. Yeah.
So,
One thing with that property, I think also allowed it to get up to 721 reviews. I don't know if you noticed on the bottom there, it said featured in. It featured in some decent publications to get it some buzz and awareness. So I'm sure that did drive.
where was
Yeah.
that?
So right below her name, where it says hosted
Oh,
by.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
cabin porn's a big one, and then okay, so that was just the one. It was featured in that, which I think has easy on that search. You don't know. Easy on that search.
Not even thinking about it.
I saw you punched it. I was like, oh boy, oh
Dude, this
boy.
is the kind of thing where like your spouse
Hey.
goes on your computer looking for something that you did wrong, and this
Hold on.
pops up. She's like, "Really, Jordan?"
I trust me, but hold on real quick. Look at the first property on the top there. Do you remember?
This
Does
one?
that ring any bell? No, the header image.
Oh yeah, I have
Weird.
that in my swipe file.
Yeah, I was going to
That's
say that
so
was a property
funny.
we looked at.
Yeah,
So
that's so
cool.
cool. I want to redo that one. I think that'd be a killer property for some of the
I
stuff
think
we're
it-
doing right now.
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
But anyways,
So.
but that was that was a good segment. How the heck am I going to follow that one up?
Jordan's like, I wish I would have gone
But-
first.
All right. So my would you book it? I'm going to share my screen here. And I'm going to show you the Airbnb listing, and I'm hiding the title intentionally. I want to make sure it doesn't show anywhere else on here. Because you're going to look at this Airbnb listing and you're going to be like, Jordan, what in the world are we looking at? Right.
Whew,
So
goodness.
I mean, nice house, big house for sure. Right. So we have this property here, nothing special, inside's cool. It
Pretty.
seems like
Yeah.
it's big. Like there's nothing flashy about it. Right. And you go through all the listing photos and you would also think, Jordan, what are we looking at? Like, this is the deer head on the walls. Okay, there's a cool lake. Matt, I mean, that bedroom's cool. Cool view. But you get done, it's like, okay, what's the hype, right? The hype on this, and I don't understand why they don't lean into it more in the listing photos. It's in the description. It's in the title. But this property features this amenity. I'm going to pull up an Instagram video.
I've seen it before.
Has this 75-foot water slide that goes down the back that leads into the lake. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, so from a guest perspective, I'm curious to know your take. We're going to put the price aside because this place is astronomically expensive. So I don't want price to play a factor into would you book this?
But I mean, it's what, eight beds, 6-bedroom, 8 beds.
It's
That's
8 beds.
pretty
So I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at, I mean, they're booked, but again, I don't know if they're booked. I feel like they blocked.
Yeah, to go from
but
100% to nothing in September, that's a block or
Right.
something.
Right. So it's
Grandma wanted a vacation.
five night minimum. So you're looking at for 6 nights. Trust me. But so that's my thing though. We'll get to the host thing in a second because I just don't understand how at 21,226 and the only photo of the slide you have is right here.
That's $3,537 a night.
Trust me. One, how is it even booking? Sure, it says luxury house with water slide. This is a pitiful title. Like, no offense, Zach, that's hosting this. And this is your only, this is the slide. You kind of see it in the corner there. But let's focus on the guest side. From you as a guest, would you book a place like this, price aside?
Price aside, yeah. If I would do this for like a family reunion or something like that, I think I'm a lake person. I'd go to the lake over the beach any day of my life, and that right there would be a blast. If I had a boat, I'd price included. I would book this thing.
When we sell Rocky, when we're booking this place, Mike's like,
Dude,
we made it.
there's a couple lakes around here that I've been eyeing a little bit, and I'm like, all right, like one day. But
Yeah. Okay. I figured that from a guest perspective, I thought you'd book it. And I think I'm the same without, I still don't even think if you told me I got a boat, I still don't think I could justify $21,000 because I think there's better places at 21,000. But just for the slide itself, I think it would be yes for me. Like I would book it
Yep.
because that would be so much fun. Like now,
Dude,
sure, there's a little bit of like, is this thing gonna hold up? Right? Like
you could just picture Adrian with his floaties on at
dude,
7 months old, just zooming down that thing.
just put him in a kiddie pool and send
Yeah.
it down. That's the one thing I thought about is like, I think I would be more excited not to just send me down, but like as my kids would get older, like Gavin right now is, he'll be 5 in October. So I would probably want him to be a little bit older so he's a little bit braver. But like as they get a little bit older, I think I'd have more fun watching them go down that slide.
Yeah.
Just like the like joy, fear, excitement, all the emotions as they're going down this slide, like it would be insane. So I agree. I think we're on the same page from a guest perspective. From a host perspective, would you host a place like this? And
5-night minimum. What's the cleaning fee? It doesn't tell you anymore, does it?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think it breaks it down anymore.
Yeah. It's a 5-night minimum. I mean, maybe if I had 4 or 5 places in the area, yes. But like, that's going to require either a full day or a few people to go in and clean that thing. It's going to be a few $100 at a minimum.
Yep.
Right. To get that thing right. And the struggle that I run into is like, we found a lot of success hiring individuals as cleaners. I have yet to find a cleaning team that cares the way that I need them to care for an Airbnb.
Yep.
So
what's
the
your
rating?
takes? So, I mean, it's only got 2 reviews.
Oh, wow.
I did look at another video before. It was previously ran by Vacasa, which that may be the sign, but no offense to Zach here. Zach, if you're watching the show, I apologize. But I don't, at 2 reviews, I wonder if maybe this is like their beach house that they rent out occasionally, right? They rent out in the summer, they use it in the summer, they rent out in the fall, and if it makes a few, $1,000, if it rents for $3,000 a night, so be it. My biggest question mark is from a liability perspective, and I don't know, from an insurance perspective with that slide, right? If that thing were to fail, if someone launches off the side, some drunk person goes down that thing and just,
well, that was my question for not having it on Airbnb, because the moment we put our hot tub up, our insurance company found out, and we were trying to hide it from them. We just hadn't set anything up yet or finished the daggone project. And they called us and they were like, you have a hot tub, that's going to increase your insurance. So my like curiosity for the not highlighting it in the Airbnb listing was that, although it kind of defeats the point that they have luxury house with water slide in the title. So
yeah, I know. And that's part, and I was trying to see, I should look. I don't know if they have a direct booking site, so maybe they're doing well there. But to me, like, I just see this area here, very cool from a guest perspective. I think it would be a blast. And I think 99% of people would navigate this just fine.
Yeah.
But I see look at the stairs, cool, built into nature. You go down that slide, I can just see someone slipping on this. I can see a kid launching off, like someone getting hurt, to where it's just like, for me, I think most of the time it would be fine, but I think you're risking it a little bit from a liability perspective, potentially. Maybe not if you have the right pieces in place, but that'd be the only thing that scares me a little bit from a host perspective.
Dude, I too though, like this listing title, you know how I am with the word luxury, dude. It just sets the wrong expectation. Like, it doesn't get higher than luxury, and people are gonna go in there and be like, this is my expectation. If you look at that kitchen table, like just go to picture 9 of 22, and it is, there you go. Dude, nothing about that screams. It screams cabin, it screams fun, it screams personal, it screams like all these other things. But luxury is like
luxury. Yeah, I mean, look
at the bumps on the bed. Like, good looking bed, but
I don't know if you knew, Mike, but luxury is a box TV.
Give me a good luxury tube, man. That's what I want.
Oh my gosh, it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I guess
that's nice. Yeah, the stone fireplace.
The lamp's a little obnoxious. It's almost like they supersized the lamp on accident. like it just got too. But anyways, we're not here. We're not here to bash this listing. But it's a good looking house. Yeah, I think it could do well. I I think there's better ROI opportunities elsewhere than
Yeah.
just adding a 75-foot slide and not promoting it, right? I think that's a
Yeah.
perfect example of having, and that's why I was excited to bring this on, is you have a perfect example of amenity that could do well if promoted correctly.
Yeah.
But since it wasn't, people are questioning, why is this place $21,000 for 6 nights, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if the host is like, oh, well, it's because we have the lake and we have the slide. And it's like, yeah, well, there's no indication here. You have a Indiana Jones pinball machine from the 70s. You have a pool table. Like it's cool, don't get me wrong, but like, show me where $21,000, like it's worth $21,000 here. Maybe
Yeah.
the thing in the size, but nonetheless, it's yeah, I thought that was interesting. So
those reviews too, but the latest one was August 2024. So my thing is like, for the price of that house, the maintenance cost of that house, the insurance payments on that house, it's like I would need to see a whole lot more information before diving in. It's got to be a pretty sound investment there. I'm just not seeing that here.
Yeah, but yeah, I think
definitely rent it though.
I would definitely rent it as long as it doesn't cost me $21,000.
Yeah.
So, but well, cool. Well, I think that was good. We brought 2 different examples of I'd never seen that tower. And I think it's also something that's crazy, right? Is you think everyone knows about your place, yet most people don't, right? That place had 721 reviews on Airbnb, and that was the first time I've ever seen it. Yeah. But you've seen it. Many other people.
Oh, I've seen it. You want to see something cool too? Let's see if I can pop this up. I closed her tab. Oh well.
You accidentally took out cabin in front of the cabin porn search,
No,
right? Like easy killer.
Fire tower Airbnb. I actually, like, right before we got on, I already knew what I wanted to do. I just needed to find it. And maybe I shouldn't show you this because I could pull it for some other ones, but I'm going to show it anyway. People will be they'll be impressed when I pull up her other stuff. So Katie's been in a bunch of news articles and things like that. If you actually visit her profile, she's got quite a few homes here. But if you look at these, she's very much in the unique trend.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So underground Hobbit home type deal. Super cute. Circular doors, man. We got to do some circles here soon. Her potato.
Oh, she owns the potato.
Yep, that's her potato here. Little silo outhouse type thing. Cute little fence built in the shape of a heart, right? Super adorable. This is a ship that she's put in. Yeah. Like this one is a cool one to me.
That's sweet.
Yeah. But she's really doing it. I've never seen this one. But she's really doing some unique stuff. Like she's figured it out on that side of the United States. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. She's got a cool story too. If you ever look up her stuff, I don't know what her site is or anything, but
I think again, it's awareness and it's people knowing that this stuff actually exists, right? To where it's like, I think you've seen the waterfall because it went viral on social media. And I read the comments of the post and a lot of people were like, how do I book this place? Where's the link? Where's the lake? Right. And no one could find it. Like, and I think that's a problem. It's like, if you have something that great, that spectacular, that unique, why would you not want to share it with people, right? Why would you not want to promote it? Because I think and it's not to say you have to pay thousands of dollars for a videographer, but just share it. Because there's different social strategies out there or promotion strategies, whether that be even email marketing, right? Like grow your list and get people to know that you exist. That's where you can start to really turn things around. But
you'd be amazed what people want to hear about.
Yeah, it's crazy, but well, cool. Anything else on your mind today, Mike? I was looking at the time. I was like, man, 52 minutes went fast.
Yeah, we rolled through it, dude. I'm excited. No, I'm good. I think that was a good one.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So hopefully we'll have more worst to first properties because we're just going to keep leveling up and properties are going to keep passing each other. Maybe we'll circle back around to the naturalist where everything else we've done is so unique to where the naturalist is back down again and we can bring it all the way back up to the top. I don't know what we could do to do that. We probably won't own it at that point. We'll exit and move on to other properties, but so it'll be fun. But
I like it.
All right. Alrighty, well, that does it. Another amazing episode of the Hideaway Show Behind the Curtain Edition. I'm Jordan Holmes. He's Mike Sebastian. Until next time, take care, everyone.